G'day cocktail lovers, here's something I haven't done in a little while. I'm making a cocktail and a clarified version of the same cocktail to taste side by side. A little bit of backstory why I made this particular choice. I had orange juice because I use orange peel, it garnishes a lot, so I ended up with a peeled orange. I thought, well, might as well juice it, and then I have orange juice. Now with that juice, I do one of a number of things. Maybe I just drink orange juice, maybe I make a cocktail that has orange juice in it, or quite often I use it to make a clarified cocktail because I just like to have one that I can pour over ice and sip when the mood takes me. This bit of a mashup, doing a cocktail that has quite a bit of orange juice in it and a clarified version of that cocktail using the orange juice as the acidic element. Quick backgrounder on milk clarification, although I will link at the end to one of my cocktails where I show it in detail. What you need is a drink, a cocktail or a non-alcoholic drink with an acidic element, usually citrus, and you add that to milk. Dairy milk is the simplest. You can experiment with non-dairy milks as well, but you need fat content. So you don't want a low-fat milk, you want fat content because the acid element curdles the milk. Sounds bad, but what that does, when you let it separate, you only need to leave it for half an hour to maybe an hour. Don't listen to people who say you need to leave it 24 hours. I've done the experiments. You don't have to do that. Then you pour it through a paper coffee filter and you let a bit run through because it's not the coffee filter that does the filtration. It's actually the curds that do the clarification. So they have to settle down. So after you pour some through, it has to run through for a while and then pour it through again, or maybe do the whole thing twice. It's a little bit time consuming, but not difficult as such. And you get this incredible effect where it takes most of the color out of the drink and it completely changes the flavor. It softens the flavor and smooths all the edges. So it's actually a good technique for a cocktail that maybe has some harsh elements in it. And to knock two talking points on the head that I see, well, I'm just going to say idiots say online when they don't understand milk clarification, they go, oh, but then you can't taste the cocktail. What you're tasting is a different cocktail. You know, trying something new, broadening your horizons. 9 times out of 10, I really like what the clarification process does. Sometimes I'm a little disappointed, but mostly I really like it. And yes, it's different. And also, yes, you're adding it to milk, so you're diluting it. That is the nature of it. Not that there's anything wrong with having a lower alcohol content cocktail from time to time, but if you think, oh, I want it to be a bit beefier, use a high proof spirit. If you normally use like a 40% spirit, use like a barrel strength, navy strength gin, all these things. Use a stronger spirit and the clarification process will calm that down. But you know, I think it's really worth it. Not least, it's cool, it's fun, it's different. Enjoy yourself for God's sake. I found this recipe on the cocktail subreddit. It's a Jamie Boudreau recipe called the Union Club. And I was surprised by how much orange juice is actually in it, but the person posting said, oh, trust me, the orange juice doesn't overpower the cocktail. And I thought, that's why I don't usually use orange juice in cocktails, because I think it overpowers. This guy says it doesn't, so I'm going to try the straight version first. This is like a lighter version of a Boulevardier, because you do use Campari or something similar in it, but all the orange juice sort of takes away the harshness of the bitterness in the aperitivo. And, you know, it's really quite good. And now I want to try the clarified version. Totally different drink, but really interesting because a lot of the clarified cocktails I make are sweeter. This one has no added sugar in it, so it's less sweet than some. So you're still getting those citrus elements from the aperitivo and the whiskey elements in there as well. But having done that taste comparison, I'll show you exactly how to make it. In a shaker, put 2 ounces or 60 mils of whiskey of your choice, then half an ounce or 15 mils of your bittersweet aperitivo, then half an ounce or 15 mils of maraschino liqueur, and then 1.5 ounces or 45 mils of orange juice. Add ice to the shaker, shake that good and hard for 10 or 15 seconds to chill and dilute the drink, and then I'm straining that into a chilled coupe. For the clarified version, I love to use my sexy clear ice to really show off both the ice and the clarification, and I just pour it straight over the ice, and in both cases, I'm giving a garnish of a twist of orange peel. The actual ingredients I'm using might look a bit different to what you're expecting. The aperitivo is actually called the Native Australian Amaro from Autonomy, a local distiller. they use Australian native citrus and botanicals to flavour this, and they don't put anything artificial in, so it's not a bright red or orange like a lot of the Italian aperitivos are. And the maraschino is a local one as well. They call it naked maraschino, nothing artificial, and again, they don't filter it. Most maraschino you see on the market is clear. This has natural colour in it, so if that looked weird, that's why. The whiskey is a blend I made and aged in some of my little barrels there, and I'm just about finishing that off, but it's got a nice robust flavour in it, and that's going to go well against the other elements in this cocktail. So there you have the Union Club and the clarified Union Club. If, like me, you find Campari drinks a bit much, like a Boulevardier or a Negroni, I never order them. So I always use a substitute for Campari to start with. But also this one, the orange juice definitely takes the edge off. And so it's just got a pleasing sort of citrusy bitterness in there rather than an overpowering one. At least I find Negronis and Boulevardiers overpowering. Very popular drinks, so I don't blame you if you like them. But it's been a fun experiment, and yes, yet again, clarifying a cocktail, completely different experience to the base cocktail. I recommend you try at least one of the two because they are quite tasty. And you know, if you have any questions about clarification, feel free to ask me in comments because I've been doing a lot of clarification over quite an extended period of time. But I am going to sit down, back on my double fisting bullshit. And that was not even a good thing. I was frightened of breaking the glasses, quite honestly. So I'll sit down with these, and I mean sit down before I fall down. And I hope to see you again sometime soon. I'll be back with more cocktails, and I hope you're back to watch. Until I do see you again, I'll say cheers.